How'd you get in here? The hell? That worked? Wait, did you use my PayPal to buy the ticket? Ugh. Hey Frank, can you come in here a minute? Jeez, dude, put a towel on, come on. Okay, that's better. Look, you're already here, so damage is done. There's nothing we can do about that now. You can't go to the con tomorrow though, right? It's going to be too many people there. You're going to get noticed. Bad things are going to happen. But I noticed there's a costume contest on Sunday. Everyone have costumes on. So you can go on Sunday. No. Don't jump. Don't jump. Alright? So you got to stay here tonight and then all day tomorrow when I'm at the con. You can order room service. You can watch TV, do whatever you want. But you got to stay here. Okay? No. You're all freaking naked and wet. Don't hug me. Home. Frank, what the hell? The bathroom's a mess. Look at this place. You're cleaning this up before tomorrow. Ready for this, buddy? Okay. Right, here we are. You can knock. Remember, don't pick Mike up. He doesn't like that. In fact, don't pick anybody up today. Well, it's before 6, getting on the plane, heading to Heroes Con. At the airport, made it through security. Actually got checked. Kind of creepy. On the ground in Charlotte. Time for a quick Uber ride. All checked in. Heading to the con. See y'all inside. Time to rejoice. I'm here.
I had to pay them $15 per book.
And they're just standing there staring at this
phone. And I'm like, you guys are charging me just for standing?
Well, I'm back from Heroes Con 2019. It's the best con I ever remember going to. I had a lot of fun there. Met a lot of people. It was fun all 3 days. But I started off Friday really early, caught an early flight, direct flight down North Carolina. Got off the plane, caught a quick taxi, got in line. I was in line by, I think, probably 10:15. And I met some viewers there almost immediately, father and son, Sean and Harrison. Hey, I'll pop their picture in here. They were great. We were in line together probably for a half hour till we got in, so that was really cool. To have someone there that's from the YouTube comic community and watches my channel, so that was really cool. So it was just nice meeting someone right off the get-go. And then I went directly in, and I knew Mike was going to be at Dale's booth, so that's the first place I went, and I found Mike. What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Oh, you made it in here.
Hello, we're at Dale Roberts' booth.
Oh, really?
Say hi, Dale.
Hey, man. How are you?
You're famous now. Just started shopping, and the first thing I grabbed was this little beauty right here, Vault of Horror number 26. It's a book I've wanted, and Dale always has awesome EC books, not just on his wall, but he's got boxes of really nice stuff that you just don't see at other shows. I think that's a common thread to this show too. There must have been at least 50 comic dealers at this, and they all had their own little specialty, but I'd say for the most part you had books that you normally would see on the walls or in boxes, and I think really fairly priced. So it was a fantastic show. If you haven't gone, definitely set the calendar for Heroes Con. I think it's June 19th next year, but You can check the website to find out for sure. But I found Mike, and he bought a whole stack of stuff with Dale too. He had gotten there Thursday, so he set up a friend of his named Phil that has a stand down there. He helped him set up, so it was great because we got exhibitor badges, so we could get in earlier than everyone else and didn't have to wait in line. So that was great. And while I was shopping, I mean, I grabbed a program, of course, but that first day, I grabbed a whole huge stack of books here, and it's pretty awesome. Just great stuff. A lot of it I'll resell after I get it, after I clean it up and we slab it and send it off. So you'll see a lot of that stuff in CGC videos coming up. So that was great. And then I have a list here. I normally don't do notes, but and then as I'm walking down after I left Dale's, Mike had a couple stops to make. I'm just walking down and I hear someone yell out Luther Manning, and it was Bub from Bub's Comics. So that was really awesome. And I got to meet him and his son and his wife. Hey everybody, look who I found.
Hey, Bub's Comics here.
This is a first appearance, so this is a valuable episode.
Yeah. Click on the link, like, subscribe, and
He'll be in the
give
link.
it a thumbs up.
All right. I like the voice. It goes with the face.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's the one I've had since birth. I've been working on it a little bit over the years. Yeah.
Works out really well. And it was funny. He carries this really cool, 007 briefcase that he has everything all lined up, and he's got his lists and pens and places to keep comics he acquires and his money and everything all in there. So it's a pretty slick system. So, which I'm not surprised if you watch his channel. He always has everything orderly as well. So I'll drop some video in there for him. Of meeting him. It was really great to finally see him in person. So it is his first appearance. So mark this episode because it's quite valuable. So after that, I went over to another stand that I go to often, Bedrock Comics, and they've been around, probably for 30 years. So they have a lot of old, all the way from Golden Age up to newer stuff. And I spied on the wall a book that I've been hunting for a long time, and it was in the grade I wanted. It was nice for the grade. And I think his starting price was pretty decent. So I took a look at it and, put it back because you need to think about things like that when you're spending that kind of money. So then from there, I went over and I met Bonafide Comics. He's also a viewer. He's a younger guy, kind of just starting out. Had a nice booth, had a pretty good wall of books, and I'll show his thing here. So if you're ever at a con and you see him, check him out. Great books, very fair, decent grader. So stop in and buy some stuff from him because I think he's going to do all right. So from there, I went, and what do my notes say here? Oh yeah, I went over and I spoke to the Reese sons. Their dad didn't make it. He was at a different show doing something else, and so that the two sons ran it, and I think they did a great job. They're very, very knowledgeable. You can tell they've been brought up in the comic dealing industry. They know their stuff. They have really clean books, I think is the thing I notice most about them. And straight shooters, so you can always deal with them. I think Mike did end up buying a lot of stuff from them. Hey everybody, hanging out here at Reese's Comics booth. We have
Austin Reese and Alex Reese. Welcome to the booth.
Perfect, huh? Look at their books. Especially doesn't get any better than that. So from there, I went and I stopped by and saw Ted at Super World, and he has a giddiness about him at these cons. I think he really, really loves them. So I don't know if he's a viewer or not, but Ted, if you're watching, hey, I enjoyed chatting with you for a little bit. He's kind of like that uncle you only see at Christmas time. He's always silly and always a smile on his face. So I love stopping by that booth there. And the guys that are in his booth are pretty cool too. So I had a great time there. Hey everybody, it's Ted from Super World.
Yay.
Come down and get some good prices on comics. And if you haven't noticed already, this isn't going to be a 2-minute Tuesday. This is going to be whatever it is Tuesday. There's too much to talk about to go through this too quick. I kind of feel like I'm doing it too fast. Then from there, I went around and I bought a lot of stuff. There was a lot of littler dealers there. There was a dealer at the end, 2300 row. The story was that they had bought an inventory of a toy and comic shop that had closed 20 years ago. everything had got boxed up and just put away on shelves. And when they opened these boxes, they had late silver and early bronze stacks and stacks. They must have had 150 Star Wars number ones, all 9.2 to 9.8. The first day on Friday, it was a feeding frenzy. It looked like someone threw blood in the water, and there was piranhas just going berserk. It was amazing. It was a really great find for them. So I know Mike and I both spent a great deal of time there, because they also had some great Silver Age books. So we bought a lot from those guys. I think they're from Lexington, Kentucky, or somewhere in Kentucky, but I didn't grab their card, or I would show that too. So with about 10 minutes to go, Mike and I said, well, what do you want to do? So I went back to Bedrock Comics, and I grabbed the book off the wall, and the negotiations began. And at the end, took it out of his panties. That's for you, John. Also, I'll put it up here. He had an original Gil Kane, Werewolf by Night 31 cover. It was absolutely gorgeous, John. So if you want it, contact Bedrock Comics. It'll just set you back about a cool $8,000. Anyway, so after negotiations and some back and forth, I ended up getting this little beauty. Tales of Suspense 39. And it's an absolute gorgeous copy for a 3.0. I think really the only thing that gave it a 3.0 was that little piece missing down there. But for the most part, it's super, super clean. I always like books that are much nicer than their grade. And this definitely fits the bill. Now, it is an older case, and it does have that squeakiness to it. So I probably will get this reholdered. But it's in my collection now. And I was, beyond ecstatic Friday. Well, okay. Me and Mike are making some buys here at Bedrock. Just picked this up. What'd you get, Mike?
Got a nice bulk of horror.
Nice. After that, we left, and Mike and I and his girlfriend, we all went out and we had Mexican to celebrate. So it was a great day. I mean, Mike got some personal collection books, which he doesn't do often. He's usually buying for inventory, but he did splurge a little bit on himself Friday, which I was real happy to see him do. So that was cool. Later at night, though, it wasn't so cool for me. I don't know if I ate something or caught something on the plane, but I was not feeling well at all Saturday. Or Friday night, I was up all night. I was dragging. I ended up not getting to the con till almost noon on Saturday. And I had a mission. A friend of mine gave me his plop number 1 that he had previously had signed in, it was a yellow label, CGC by Bernie Wrightson. And he wanted to get Sergio Aragonés's signature on it as well. So he was at the show. So I drug myself out of bed, got in the shower, and, it's kind of staggered to the con. And I think I was running a fever even. I didn't feel good at all. So I'm standing, at the signature thing and filling out my CGC paperwork, trying to get that already. And someone goes, "Hey, so your name's not really Luther Manning." And I look up, and it's a viewer. He's known as on YouTube as Grimsey. He's there, and he works for CGC. So that was kind of a fun moment. That he was the one that actually took care of my transaction. So kind of funny that's the way that went. And then I got in line, and I was talking to people here and there, just trying to keep busy so I didn't feel ill, which I most certainly was feeling ill. And a young guy comes up to me, kid. I'm not really quite sure how old, and I didn't recognize him at first because I had seen him last year. His family came up. It turns out it was Woody, his wife, and his son. And I met him last year. His son's an artist, and he had his portfolio last year. And I looked at it. Well, he's probably a head taller than he was last year, as kids do. They grow. And he said, I have something for you. And he opens up his book and takes out a, it's like Bristol board, I think. And he did a sketch for me, just for me. And again, when I get stuff like this where someone actually took the time, and I know this probably took a lot of time, and I really appreciate it, Woody, and your son. Thanks so much for this. This will be down in my comic room, my comic area downstairs, and I'll look at it all the time. He even signed it with his little trademark signature, which I think is pretty cool. It kind of is reminiscent of Gil Kane's signature. So keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you're going to be great someday. So just keep drawing. So I'm there and I'm just kind of waiting in line. And Sergio Aragonés' line was segmented. They had it in 3 parts so as not to have a giant block in the middle of everybody. So you kept getting moved, and I was fading fast at one point. I just was like, I was starting to see, black around the edges and spots, and I was getting dizzy. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And luckily enough, I met another couple people, Dave and Sammy, which I thought was kind of cool. The kid, he was probably 8 years old. He went by Sammy, which was kind of neat. So I got to know them. They weren't viewers, huge comic book fans. He was a big Sergeant Rock fan. So I'm in the middle of talking to them, and I get a phone call and pick it up, and it's Alan from After Comics. And I look up and I see the only 6'7" guy walking around making a phone call in the con. So I recognized him right away, and I just started waving. So Alan came over, and I got to. Hey everybody, look who I found.
Hi everybody.
There you go, another first appearance.
Yes.
This will be a very valuable episode.
Yeah, it's either they're going to look at me and going to say, he really is older than everyone else, but that's okay. It's good to meet you. It really is.
While I was in line, and he was nice enough to stay in line and talk with me, and then there's a couple of younger guys behind us, and they started talking to him, and there was 5 or 6 of us in there, and it really helped me because by the end of the time I got to actually meet Sergio Aragonés, I felt a lot better, and I didn't feel like I was going to get sick, and that was my fear. I'm going to get to the thing, and I'm going to throw up all over Sergio. So, I mean, it would have been a great story. It would have been, horrifying in the moment, but I think it would have made it probably down the road for a great story. I'm sure I would have been escorted out of the con and not have gotten my friend's book signed, but I made it through. He was super friendly, really thick accent still, just a great guy. Let me take a picture with him. I talked to him about, it was his fault that many hours of homework didn't get done because I used to get lost reading Mad Magazine when I was a kid, and his artwork was a big part of that. So it was just great meeting him and then getting my friend's signature and finishing that all up. And then I met back up with Alan, and we just went around, did some shopping, and I picked up some fun stuff like I got this Weird War number 14. There's a list of books. I just call them my fun list, and they're not real valuable, but I just love them. This cover is just so cool. You got the skeleton paratroopers. I think it's awesome. And while Alan and I were shopping, I grabbed another whole big stack of books. So I really loaded up this trip, so that was great. Spent a lot of time shopping around with Alan, and he got some really great finds. He's got a video, and he was kind enough. He dedicated it to me, so. Which was great. He got some books that he'd been looking for. So that show, you can pick up anything from Golden Age. You can get romance. You can get pre-code horror. They just have everything. So it's again, if you haven't ever gone, go to that show and bring some money because you're going to want to spend it. So that was kind of the end of Saturday. I don't think I missed anything. Nope. I laid low Saturday night. I kind of did dinner by myself. I went back and started to watch John Wick 2, and I fell asleep. So I still can't see John Wick 3. I got to get way through John Wick 2. So anyway, that's how my Saturday night ended. Kind of boring and quiet, but I got up early. It's Sunday, day 3. You ready, Mike?
One more day to go.
That's right. Sunday, and Mike and I went over to the show early. We met up with his friend Phil. He runs Vintage Comics and Toys, kind of just starting out. He's really learning quickly, though. He's really good about picking up on trends and things like that. The wall he had is all of the books for the entire weekend that I heard people asking for. So he's really attuned to what the market is, what's really hot, and what kind of spec books people are looking for. So I think he did really good. It was nice for him, and I'll put his stuff in here so you can see him. And if you meet him, check him out. He's got great books. Real fair dealer. I think he gets it that there's book price and then there's moving books fast. And I think if you're going to be a dealer, that's a key to it. You don't want to sit on inventory for years and years and years. There's a cost to holding that stuff, and I think he understands that. So, especially for a newer guy, I think he did real well. So. What else did I do that day? Well, as we walked around, I was always looking for this book. And I had previously had the reprint, and I've shown it before. It's Kid Code Outlaw, and this is a kind of a pre-hero book, and I love it because it's a mix of the monster and the Western genres. It's Kid Code Outlaw number 107. And if you haven't seen this book, I'm not surprised. It's not, you don't really see it out there that often, and definitely not in this nice a grade. Dale Roberts had this, so I was back there again and got this one from Dale, and really happy. I've been looking for this book for years, so to have it show up like that on the last day is fantastic. I had looked at previously, that's right, previously in the week, Friday and Saturday, both days, I did look at this book again, and I looked at several copies of this book, and there were a lot of them there, and it's another book that's on my, what I call my Bluechip list, and I was, fortunate enough to go back to Borderlands comics, and he still had it on the shelf, and he and I had talked on Friday. I went back again and kind of looked at it again on Saturday, and I looked at probably, I think there was at least 12 copies of this book in the room, so I looked at everything, and I settled on this one, and I decided to go for broke, make an offer, and see what happened. And Mike and I were there together. He was with me when I purchased Tales of Suspense 39 as well. It's always good to have a second pair of eyes look at a book, especially when it's a book like this. And I was, after a little while, we made an offer. Of course, I offered cash, which all dealers like. And I think it was a fair offer right off the get-go. We really didn't quibble. I just told him, this is my offer. It's the best I'm going to do. And, after a little bit of looking at it and thinking about it, I saw him kind of glance at his wife, and his wife kind of gave him a look like, you better take that. And he did. So I was lucky enough to land another one of my big books. I got Hulk number 1. It's a 2.5, and as per usual, sorry about the glare, it's just a beautiful 2.5, I think. Really clean, no pieces missing, no major ugly creases or anything. It's just an accumulation of spine wear. You have a little bit chips here and there in this corner, but for the most part, the color, everything about it is just beautiful. I have no complaints. I love this book. I bought it with not much time left at the con on Sunday, and it was just I was walking on air after I got this, so just very happy to get it. Thank you, Borderlands, for having this and working with me on it, and thank you to the guys at Bedrock for working with me on that Tales of Suspense 39. So, I mean, to come home with these 2 books and that stack that I got there is just, like I said, I've never had this good an experience at any con or any comic buying experience for that matter. So, just I feel very fortunate to get that, and what makes those books all the more special is I know the amount of work that I put in and how many books I've sold online or in person or at these little shows or working with comic shops to give them extra back stock. I'll sell them entire long boxes at a time, that kind of thing. It makes those to me just so much more valuable. When I look at them, I know the effort that went into getting those books, and to be patient and wait and not just jump, because I almost bought one last year and I would have spent more for a 2.0 than I did on that 2.5, and it had kind of it almost looked like someone to put a Coke can on the back cover, and I just couldn't get by that big ugly stain. And this is structurally a better book. The other key thing that I guess I forgot to point out is it's got white pages, and I don't ever remember seeing a book this old under 4.0 that had white pages. I don't know. I'm sure you guys can correct me because I imagine I'm wrong, but I know I haven't seen that or don't recall seeing white pages on a book below 4.0 that's that old. So I think that in itself was pretty awesome. So sorry if I'm a little hoarse. I still kind of don't have much of a voice. I did a lot of talking over the weekend, obviously, and it was a lot of fun. So make sure I got everything here. Oh, yeah. I'm going to put a bunch of pictures at the end here. I know that DS Comics was there, and I'm sorry I missed you. I think Deadpool 2323 reached out to Anthony, and some reason I didn't get the text until after, or I spaced. I don't remember which. So hopefully I'll catch you down the road at another con, or anybody else that I missed. there. I did realize that part of the issue is I don't know what any of you look like. For the most part, I'd say 90% of the people that view and comment my channel, they don't make videos, or they don't have a channel. You've never seen them. So unless they see me, and a lot of times at the show, I'm hunched over a box. So unless you're next to me or you just happen to pass me, I don't think you're going to see me. Like, it's a good thing Bub recognized me, because I had no idea what he looked like. Now, once I heard him laughing, then I would have known who it was, because he's got a very distinctive laugh. So, and same with Woody. If Woody had started speaking, I've spoken to him before, I would have recognized him. And obviously, Alan has a very recognizable voice. So, but it was just a fantastic show. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff. If I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. I had a great show. We hung out with Eric at Dave and Adam's booth a lot too, which is kind of fun to meet up with some Western New York guys down there. So great contacts overall, Mike and I made, and just looking forward to the next one. I think we're probably planning on going to Baltimore Con. It's in October. It's a very similar show to that. I think there's a little bit more showiness to it, a little bit more cosplay, a little more Hollywood type stuff there. But for the most part, I think it's a huge comic show, just like this was. So I got home very late. They knew we were home.
Time is now 11 o'clock p.m.
Perfect. 11 o'clock p.m. We just got home. Mike has an entire rolling suitcase full of books. He had to check it, so it was a scary flight home. How'd they make out?
It was pretty good. It was a decent buying opportunity.
It was the best con I've ever been to, so hopefully I can piece all this stuff together and this video will turn out okay. We also have one box waiting at the post office, so this week should be another CGC video, so see y'all in a little bit. We pulled a driver around midnight. I got home and I had, a Father's Day card from my wonderful wife, and she took a drawing that my son had done, and she custom framed it for me. She's super talented, so this was waiting for me on the island when I got home. So this is great. Will be the first picture that I hang up in a new comic area downstairs, and just was a great way to end my my weekend. A lot of fun. So happy Father's Day to everybody. And it's a little belated, I know, but I hope you all had as good a time as I did. And I guess we'll see you on the next one. This weekend taught me something for sure. Love what you have, not what you want. I'll see you all down the road. Can't believe we decided to do the FedEx thing. Alright, cool. No cops? No cops. Okay, I'm gonna go in. Frank, how you doing in there, buddy? Alright, we're almost home. Home sweet home, buddy. Boy, it's gonna take a while. You ready in there, bud? Alright. Hey, buddy. Hey, good news. I think I found your hands. Yep, that's your hands, all right. Settle down. What? Absolutely not. You can go when I get you all back together. I think that goes there. Hold still. Stop moving around or I'm going to put it on backwards.